Dating apps, one of the best known marketing methods for an OnlyFans account. Now, if you're in the space, you will know that there are two main dating apps to focus on, Tinder and Bumble. There's a whole lot of others you can use, but in terms of getting the best return for the effort put in, you'll be using Tinder and Bumble. Hey, I'm Bjorn Olsen from YourOFEmpire.com, owner of Your OnlyFans Empire, an OnlyFans management agency managing girls in the top 1% from all over the world, completely remotely. No office, hence the different hotel rooms and all my different videos. Check us out at YourOFEmpire.com or at YourOFEmpire on all major social media platforms. But for now, let's get back to the video. Now, I just want to mention a couple of different known methods and the method that I use, just in case you're wondering which way to go. So you need to make sure the funnel's in place, the usual. Instagram. Click on Instagram, goes to Instagram, sees a link tree. Click on link tree, goes to the link tree, sees your OnlyFans, well, the OnlyFans, clicks on it, OnlyFans. Simple fun. Now, the old and new methods I was referring to, now I've spoken about this in another video. The main method I use is an army of iPhones. Why iPhones and not Android? iPhones, I've gone over this in another video as well. iPhones because it is more simple. They don't need proxies. Once you spoof the location using software like 3U Tools or iMyFone, that location is permanently changed so long as the iPhone stays on and doesn't die. Androids tend to be a little more complex. Androids tend to, from what I know, I could be speaking out of my ass here, Android tends to leak the geolocation data a lot more than iPhones. So you can spoof the location on Android, but it still seeps out and they can still find ways of detecting where you are, even though you have spoofed the location. And therefore you need proxies on top of like location spoofing software. And I just found it to be a lot. So I stick to iPhones, and you have an army of iPhones, Tinder and Bumble on each. No, I don't use AppCloner. That is a newer method I'll talk a little bit about. I don't use AppCloner. I just stick to one Tinder, one Bumble per iPhone. And then I use a couple of others like Kinked. But these are the two that we're talking about, Tinder and Bumble, so I'll speak of them. So you have an army of iPhones with those on each. Then I have auto clickers. For Tinder, there is a Safari extension you can use to auto swipe. Bumble, haven't found an extension yet because from what I know, you can't use Bumble in an internet browser. You have to use the app. So I actually found these physical auto clickers that are USB powered and they auto swipe. So for those asking, isn't it a lot having like an army of iPhones? No, you can still automate it. And I found that I get the highest return for the least amount of effort because iPhones are so simple to set up and factory reset as soon as an account gets banned, unlike Android's or anti-detect browser. Now, that's mine. Other methods are here floating around. Anti-detect browser coupled with proxies, creating a shitload of those accounts, and then verifying using various ways like software such as Wecam and getting the client to take a whole bunch of photos for each different pose for Tinder and Bumble, and then faking the webcam and verifying each account. Now, I tried that a while ago and it was just a shit fuck, to be honest. The accounts were constantly churning. You weren't guaranteed to be able to verify. They're catching on, they can detect software. It's getting harder to manipulate. I actually found it easy to use iPhones. I don't even verify them. They still have a long lifespan. You just have to get very creative with the bio and the funnel. I found it a lot easier. And then I didn't have to deal with proxies and just constantly churning accounts. There is another method I know of. That is AppCloner using Androids, cloning Tinder and Bumble into the stratosphere and using a whole lot of different proxies from what I know. I don't actually use that method myself at the moment, but I know it's ever evolving. They use a whole lot of proxies, or you can farm a Wi-Fi hotspot. But as you can tell from me talking about it, it's fucking very complicated, and like the anti-detect browser, has a very high churn rate. So those are some other options that I know of. I tried BlueStacks. I haven't found a way to make haven't found a way to make BlueStacks work consistently. Like when I say consistently, I mean scaling. Now you can find a whole lot of different ways to create one Tinder account for a person and verify it. That's no worries, but you need to realize that you're creating these at scale, and what may work for one account will not work for a whole army of accounts. So The method that I have stuck to and been using for the good part of 8 months now without a problem, whole lot of iPhone 7s and 8s. Mainly iPhone 8s because iPhone 7s are no longer getting iOS support. So whenever I purchase more iPhones, I just stick to iPhone 8s. I like to think long term. I don't like the idea of buying iPhone 7s knowing that they have a time limit. So anyway, I just want to give you an ear beating of why I still use iPhones, because a lot of people come at me saying, oh bro, why don't you use like AppClone and create all these accounts? I'm like, yeah, you can create a shitload of accounts on one device, but they have a high churn rate. If they're constantly churning, then the matches that are stacking up might not have had a chance to funnel through by the time they get banned. So you could have a shitload of accounts, but it doesn't mean a lot of that traffic is funneling through if they're constantly churning, constantly getting banned. I found with iPhones, longer lifespan, more simpler to set up in case of a ban. It's a simple factory reset, create a new iCloud account using the iPhone, get a new SIM card, and then spoof the location using 3U Tools or iFind My Phone, and set up new Tinder account, warm up, 48 hours, done. As opposed to proxies and anti-detect browsers and app cloners and blah, blah, blah. So for those of you asking why I don't use App Cloner because it's the latest and greatest, stick to iPhones because I get a higher return for the least amount of effort. So I hope this helped. If you like my content, go smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you on another video.